older. I'm like, what? Don't hit your Uber driver. Like, yo, can you not set up your drug deals while you're in my car? Like, yeah. And you're like, what is, I'm in the car, you're in the car. We're all having this conversation. You're not gonna take my stuff out of my car. When you accept the ride, do not immediately call me and ask me my ETA or how far are you? How long is it gonna take you to get here? Friend, it is on the app. Look at the app. It will tell you, I'll be there in 3 minutes. I'll be there in 4 minutes. I'll be there in 10 minutes. It's right there. You don't need to call me. You don't need to text me. And you don't need to give me attitude about it. I do not operate the Uber switchboard. I just accept the ride. I'm coming to get you to give you the ride. Do not listen to music on your phone. The music on your phone is clashing with the music that is coming out of my speakers. It's weird, it's off-putting, it always throws me off because it's never like right when people get in the ride. It's when you're on your ride and everything's going cool and then you just hear this like, yeah! And you're like, what is happening? What is happening? And that can be dangerous. If you have your phone on speaker in the Uber, we're all having this conversation. So don't get an attitude when you hear me be like, for real? No, he shouldn't have done that, or give my input. Because you have it on speaker, I'm in the car, you're in the car, we're all having this conversation. We're all finding out about your mother's test results, or we're all finding out about the girl at work who was mean to you or whatever. We're all getting the tea in this car, and I'm gonna give you my input because I feel like you've included me in this conversation. As an Uber rider, I hate when I get an Uber driver if I have like luggage and the Uber driver does not help me put my luggage in the car. And that can also be, you know, a woman thing, a gender-based thing, chivalry and all that. But as an Uber driver, I hate that too. Let me help you put it in my car because it is my car. So for instance, in my car, in the trunk, I keep my stuff for doing my laundry because I go to a laundromat. So there's a little basket back there. So one time I got this family, I was picking up this family. One, it was like a family of 5. And so they had a lot of luggage, but the father just went, opened the thing and was like trying to stuff his stuff in there and like knock my stuff about. Like, what do you want me to do with this? You're not gonna take my stuff out of my car and like have me leave it at the airport so your bags can fit. No, I will come out, I will put it in the car, I will help you arrange it, okay? If you can't afford an Uber, don't take an Uber. If there are 6 of you, don't get the regular Uber X, Uber economy. You need an Uber XL, you need an SUV. I've had people try to do Uber pools and they have 4 friends. Like I drive a Prius, like I can only hold like 4 other people at most. So if you got like a gang of you, like you split it up. You can split it on the app or you can Venmo or Cash App each other, but don't try to pile 8 of you in my little Toyota Prius. That's not how any of this works at all. Don't do that. For all my non-Black passengers, now, the music thing. I have no problem you plugging in an aux cord, listening to your favorite rapper. However, if your favorite rapper uses the N-word a lot, I'm gonna need you to edit. I'm gonna need you to self-edit in my car. Like we're not gonna do that. And I know whatever XXXTentacion or whoever you're listening to, they use the N-word, I use the N-word. But that's, I guess, Black privilege. If we can, you can't, just don't do it. Just self-edit. Just like you do when the curse words come on and you're around your mom. Same thing when you're around me or a Black driver, just show a little respect. I keep mints specifically because people chew like animals. And if you're in the back seat and that just right in this ear, it's going to drive me insane. And I might, I don't know, drive the car off a cliff with you in it. And we don't want that. If you need a breath freshener, there are mints. Mints, not gum. And I've had people ask me like, oh, do you have gum? No, I don't. I have mints for the very reason. People who laugh, who have to hit you when they laugh, like don't do that to your Uber driver or anybody who's driving really. Don't hit the person who's driving, even if you're laughing, because, you know, you could cause them to jerk the car. It could cause an accident. And yeah, I've had people in my back seat that are like, you know, just talking and we're laughing, having a good time, and they just reach up and hit my shoulder. I'm like, what? Like, don't hit your Uber driver for any reason. Depending on how tired you are, your last ride is always going to be your longest ride. So one night, it was probably about 2:45 in the morning. I was in Hollywood. I was like, I'll take one more ride. You get 2 times on the app where you can set where you're going. So it will only give you rides going in that direction, but it's in a radius, right? So I thought I had set my destination, or maybe I couldn't, but I was like, hey, I'll just take one more ride. And this ride was to Santa Monica. And it was 3 guys, 3 young white guys. And one guy gets in the front seat and he asks if he can plug in his phone, the little aux cord. I say, all right, cool. And he's playing like all this, like triple extension specifically, which I kind of like. I'm not a triple extension fan, and he raps a lot about like demonic stuff and raping women and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, no, thank you. And so he and his boys are bopping along to it. And then he says to his boy, hey, see if such and such can get us some bars. And I'm like, well, I know bars is a term to mean Xanax. And sir, you're like 17. Why are you're not taking Xanax because you need Xanax, right? So in my head, I'm like, yo, can you not set up your drug deals while you're in my car? Because I don't want to be, I don't want to be an accessory here. I don't want to have anything to do with this. Then we get, and I was tired and it was a long drive and they're playing this music that I hate. And we get to Santa Monica and he lives at like the ass end of Santa Monica, like way up in the hills or whatever. And I drop him off. I dropped the first friend off, and then the other friend was like, did you put my address in? And he was like, oh snap, man, I didn't do it. Can I add it right now? And I was like, yeah. I'm thinking they're friends, right? The next guy's place was like right around the corner. I was like, oh, they're friends. They all live right here. No, this dude lived in Malibu, in that ass end of Malibu. So, and because they added it after the fact, it was like, I dropped off the one guy and then the next guy that was around the corner. And then because the last guy added that one at the last minute, I had to drive another 30 minutes, like back to where I dropped off the first guy, and then like 30 minutes past that in the opposite direction of where I was trying to go, which was home. And they were rich kids and they lived in these big estates. And I did all that work. It was probably about an hour and a half time total. And I think I made like $15 because it wasn't during like a blitz period. And they didn't tip me. Like, and one of them, the one in Malibu, lived in this really distinct house. It looked like a house out of the Flintstones. So whenever I go to Malibu, like if I'm going to the beach, I always see that house. It was right off the PCH. So I always see that house and I just always remember. And I just want to like, I like want to go knock on the door and be like, hey, you didn't tip me a year ago, buddy. Like tip your Uber drivers, man, because we'll be out there so long and it'll be like $6. The thing that annoys me about like the Uber app or the Uber system is that it's so hard for us to get in touch with driver support. Like a lot of times you have to email and wait for them to email you back, and that can take a few days. And if I'm having an incident with a client or something that can probably be handled in just a few minutes, I would like to do that versus email us about your issue and we'll get back to you in 5 to 7 days, because who knows what can happen in 5 to 7 days. It annoys me that with Uber, you get paid more per trip for delivering food via Uber Eats versus driving people around. Like when I'm driving people around, I'm responsible for somebody's entire life and I only get $3. When I'm delivering food, I'm responsible for like a pizza or a fried chicken plate and I get $6. So that doesn't, like, let's even it out. And I feel like a base $6 would be a great minimum. But I do, Uber actually just changed their rate and I believe they lowered it, their base rate to $3 per trip, which is, so before it was $5 per trip for Uber rides and then your driver would get like $3.25. I think they recently changed it to where the base is $3.